Young and Restless 2-week spoilers October 20th to 31st. Nick's fierce clash and Claire's bold push. By the way, the last 2 days of these 2 weeks, October 30th and the 31st, are the first 2 days of November sweeps. So, we're going to have a big build-up over these 2 weeks that's going to carry us into hopefully exciting and very soapy action during sweeps. We'll see. Sometimes YandR gives us sleeps instead of sweeps. Fingers crossed it won't be that way this year. Young and the Restless spoilers, Bachelorette Party Chaos. Monday, October 20th, Danny Romalotti, Michael Damian, is having his bachelor party and his guests are Michael Baldwin, Christian Jules LeBlanc, and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, and Devin Hamilton, Brighton James. Meanwhile, Christine Cricket Blair's Laura Lee Bell Bachelorette Party has Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, and Lauren Fenmore, Tracy Bregman. And Danny thanks Jack for introducing him to Christine years ago. Phyllis crashes the party and confronts Christine. Psycho Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, crashes to ruin Christine's night, even though Michael warns Phyllis to stop it and go up to her room and go to bed. She says she's not a child and then stomps down to prove that she is, in fact. Lauren stops red and says, "Just leave now." Of course, Diane thinks Phyllis is there for trouble, but Phyllis lies and says she didn't even know there was a party going on. All the lying. Phyllis says some very nasty things to Christine, who gives it back to her as good as she gets, saying that Phyllis is crazy. Can't keep a man. Jeremy Stark, James Hyde, was the last man she had in her life. Phyllis says that Danny's gonna dump Christine, and she'll never make him happy. Phyllis then goes upstairs and lies to Danny and starts whining about how Christine is mean to her. The bachelor and bachelorette parties combine after Phyllis storms out, and then the lights go out so everybody assumes it is Red pranking them. But Nate goes and talks to somebody and finds out it's a construction issue, and he tells Danny, who has by then run into Phyllis while he was also checking out the blackout. Danny tells Phyllis he's worried about her, and her temper fits and her behavior. So erratic. And she says she wants Danny to be happy and she's over him. She's not obsessed with him, but she just doesn't want him with Christine. But Danny says that Cricket is his person and Phyllis walks off, but of course creeps back later, just in time to see Danny serenading and kissing Christine, and it's all romantic and Phyllis looks really ticked off about it. Unexpected kisses and risky business. Tuesday, October 21st, we've got Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, trying to make amends with Devin. There's about a billion reasons that that's not going to go well, right? I'm guessing that Kane may apologize for the con that Colin Atkinson, Tristan Rogers, ran that stole Devin's $1 billion inheritance that Kay Chancellor, Gene Cooper, left him. Even though Devin eventually got it back, he hates Kane and Colin for that, and also for how Kane has treated Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil. So, I bet this is not going to be a very pleasant interaction. Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, has a few too many drinks at the GCAC while upset about Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, rejecting her. And then Tessa stumbles into Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziadei, and kisses him on impulse after he catches her, and he kisses her back. However, where it goes next may not be where we expect. Phyllis does something risky on Tuesday. Maybe involves Kane. Maybe it's some more Danny and Cricket craziness, but I hope not. Mariah's past returns and a shocking car accident. Wednesday, October 22nd, Mariah confronts her past. Ray Wise is back as Ian Ward. But the question is he really back or is this Mariah thinking about him in flashbacks or a nightmare or a hallucination of some sort? I mean, that's all plausible. Everybody, including Mariah, thinks that Ian is dead. However, he is probably keeping an eye on her because he's obsessed. So he might come in person and slink into that clinic where she's getting inpatient treatment, and Ian may be looking for Mariah. He remains fixated on her. So we'll see if her confronting her past is him live and in person, or just some sort of therapeutic dream or something, some kind of mental manifestation. This week, Claire is at the hospital in Los Angeles. She is coming up to see Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, and to check on how Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, is doing cause Victoria told her about it. And of course, he's in very bad shape. Nick and Sharon are worried for Noah. He's got brain swelling. He's got serious injuries from this terrible car accident, which appears to be no accident at all. And of course, we're waiting to see if Detective Burrow, Matt Cohen, is a real detective or not. What he is real cute. If you guys didn't really get a good look at him, check out Matt Cohen next time Burrow is on because he is such a hunk. I loved him over on General Hospital. And Daniel makes a tough choice on Wednesday. And I wonder if it's to tap the brakes with Tessa, even though Daniel is really into her. Nick's investigation and Kyle's suspicions on Young and the Restless. Thursday, October 23rd, Nick gets together with Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun. Nick is going to have questions about Noah and how she knows him and why someone would be after his son. And I just wonder how much will Sienna tell Nick. It definitely sounded on the phone call with Nick that Sienna was kind of slipping up and saying that she had seen Noah recently. She's in the nightclub business in LA as well. So I also wonder if Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, knows Noah because he and Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, have known each other for years in LA, and she used to date Noah as well, and Tucker McCall, Trevor St. John, used to be out in LA as well. So maybe some of that stuff we've heard hinted at is finally 9, 10, 12 months later going to get, dragged back up. Talk about a slow-moving story on Young and the Restless. Phyllis catches Kane by surprise. I wonder if Phyllis is going to kiss him. Follow up on that almost kiss they had the week before last, because they are both at very low points. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, tries to dig up some dirt about Holden, and he's lurking and watching Sienna and Holden talking at the hotel rooftop restaurant. Claire sees Kyle and asks what he's doing, and he tries to turn it around and says the question is, what's Holden doing? Who is he doing it with? Claire knows who Sienna is. So, Kyle's just being Kyle. He needs to go back. Just go home. Leave her in peace. Phyllis and Kane's understanding and Sally's gamble. Friday, October 24th. Phyllis and Kane make sure they understand each other. This may be about whatever is going on between them is just physical, no feelings. Sienna gets interrogated by Kyle, who of course wants dirt on Holden. And Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, takes a chance on Audra on Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless spoilers, murder, romance, and weddings. The week of October 27th through the 31st. I'm just wondering if Mariah might kill the real Ian. Kill him dead. Everybody already assumes he's dead. Can they charge you with a murder when everybody thinks the guy's dead? She basically smothered that old dude at the hotel who was an Ian proxy. So if she gets the chance to do the real deal, she's already in a mental health facility. Genoa City are about to tremble as two of the town's most formidable players prepare for a collision that could change everything. Nick Newman, ever the calculating powerhouse, is gearing up for a confrontation that could leave his rivals reeling. Meanwhile, Claire Abbott is making a bold push that threatens to upend the lives of everyone around her. Young and the Restless fans should buckle up because the coming weeks are loaded with explosive twists, shocking betrayals, and fiery confrontations. Nick Newman, the firestorm ignites. Nick Newman has always been a force to reckon with, but lately he's been pushed to the edge. The simmering tension with Genoa City's elite has finally reached a boiling point. In recent scenes, viewers have seen Nick walking a tightrope between personal stakes and business ambitions, but the next week, all that restraint will shatter. The catalyst? A deal gone wrong that threatens to undermine Newman Enterprises' latest project. Nick, known for his sharp mind and relentless drive, isn't about to let someone undermine his family legacy. This time, however, the opponent is someone who knows exactly how to get under his skin. The clash is both professional and deeply personal, and the sparks are expected to fly. Expect a dramatic showdown that doesn't just involve heated words. In private offices and glass boardrooms, accusations will fly, loyalties will be questioned, and long-held grudges will surface. Viewers can anticipate that Nick's confrontation will push him to his limits, forcing him to make choices that could alienate allies or crush enemies. But Nick isn't just fighting for his business, he's fighting for his identity. As the Newman name stands at a crossroads, every decision carries massive repercussions. Fans can bet that no punches will be pulled, no secrets will remain hidden, and every line of dialogue will drip with intensity. Claire Abbott, bold moves and fearless gambits. If Nick's storyline is all about fire and fury, Claire Abbott's arc is the masterclass in strategy and audacity. Claire, ever determined to carve her own path, is making a bold push that has the entire Abbott family on edge. Her latest moves have already left viewers stunned, but the next chapter promises to escalate her power play to an entirely new level. Claire's bold push isn't just about business, it's about proving herself. Her ambition has always been shadowed by her famous family, but now, she's stepping out of that shadow and showing that she's a player in her own right. Fans can expect a high-stakes game where Claire challenges authority, bends the rules, and puts everything on the line to secure her vision. Her maneuvers could have far-reaching consequences. Allies may question her methods, rivals may underestimate her, and even family members might find themselves caught in the crossfire. But that's precisely what makes Claire's storyline so compelling. She's fearless, audacious, and unapologetically bold. In the coming weeks, audiences will witness Claire making strategic moves that could either catapult her to the top or lead to a spectacular downfall. The collision course: Nick meets Claire. The real drama kicks in when Nick Newman and Claire Abbott cross paths. While both are formidable on their own, their collision is a powder keg waiting to explode. Tensions will mount as Nick's fury clashes with Claire's ambition, leading to some of the most riveting scenes the show has offered in months. Expect intense boardroom battles, confrontations over power and control, and moments where personal feelings collide with professional stakes. Their interactions will be charged with both strategy and emotion, as each tries to outmaneuver the other. Viewers can anticipate sharp dialogue, calculated moves, and an undercurrent of raw emotion that makes every scene electric. Nick, who has long been the protector of the Newman legacy, will see Claire as both a threat and an enigma. Meanwhile, Claire will see Nick as an obstacle, but also as a test of her own abilities. As sparks fly, loyalties will be tested, alliances will form and crumble, and the consequences of their feud will ripple through Genoa City. Unexpected twists and alliances. No Young and the Restless arc would be complete without a series of shocking twists, and the Nick-Claire showdown is no exception. Expect unexpected alliances to form, secrets to surface, and shocking betrayals that will leave fans on the edge of their seats. Nick may have allies who step into the fray to defend the Newman legacy, while Claire could reveal hidden strengths that nobody anticipated. The coming weeks will showcase a chess match of epic proportions, with every character forced to choose sides, or risk being left behind. Additionally, there's the emotional element. The friction between Nick and Claire isn't just about strategy, it's deeply personal. Past grievances, family pressures, and unspoken resentments will add layers of complexity, making their clashes as emotionally charged as they are dramatic. What fans can expect: boardroom battles and power plays. Expect strategy, manipulation, and high-stakes maneuvering as Nick and Claire go head-to-head. Explosive confrontations, heated arguments, shocking revelations, and moments that will leave characters and viewers reeling. Shocking alliances. Characters may unexpectedly switch sides, complicating the power dynamics in Genoa City. Emotional turmoil, beyond business, personal histories and family tensions will add depth to the conflict, making every scene resonate. High-stakes drama. With both Nick and Claire willing to take risks, the fallout from their clash will impact multiple storylines and set the stage for future shocks. Final thoughts. Genoa City is about to experience an upheaval unlike any other. Nick Newman's fierce clash and Claire Abbott's bold push are set to define the next chapter of Young and the Restless. Their collision is a perfect storm of ambition, emotion, and raw power that promises to leave fans talking long after the episodes air. Whether you're Team Nick, rooting for the legacy of Newman Enterprises, or Team Claire, captivated by her fearless determination, one thing is certain. The drama is real, the stakes are sky-high, and the consequences will be unforgettable. Buckle up, YandR fans. The coming weeks are not just about who wins or loses. They're about watching two powerhouse personalities go head-to-head in a battle that could change Genoa City forever. Nick's fire, Claire's boldness, and the explosive tension between them will keep viewers riveted, questioning loyalties, and eagerly anticipating every twist, turn, and shocking revelation. The Young and the Restless is back with the kind of high-stakes, edge-of-your-seat drama that fans live for. And this storyline is proof that in Genoa City, power, passion, and ambition are always worth fighting for. It was supposed to be a night of fun, laughter, and bonding. An unforgettable bachelorette party for the ever-stylish Summer Newman. But in Genoa City, even the simplest celebrations can spiral into chaos, and this week's Young and the Restless promises fireworks that no one will see coming. Summer's best friends had gone all out to plan a luxurious evening at a high-end rooftop lounge downtown. The champagne was flowing, the music was booming, and the excitement was palpable. Sharon had been enlisted to handle decorations, Phyllis had offered to coordinate the guest list, and Kyle had reluctantly promised to stay out of trouble while tagging along to make sure Summer stayed safe. Everything seemed perfect, or so it appeared. The drama kicked off almost immediately. Summer arrived, dressed in a dazzling white mini dress, radiant and full of anticipation for the night ahead. But as soon as she stepped onto the rooftop, she spotted a familiar, unwelcome face, Amanda Sinclair. The former flame of Kyle, who had made no secret of her disdain for the Newman clan, was perched at the VIP table with an icy smile that could freeze lava. Summer's stomach dropped. She tried to stay calm, but Amanda's gaze was sharp, calculating, and utterly menacing. "I didn't expect to see you here," Summer said, forcing a polite smile. Amanda tilted her head, her eyes glinting with mischief. "I go where the fun is. And I heard someone was having a party. Thought I'd join." Summer's friends exchanged worried glances. They knew Amanda had a knack for turning even the most joyous occasions into battlegrounds. But before Summer could respond, Phyllis stepped in, her voice dripping with warning. "Summer, let's not make a scene. You're here to have fun. Don't let her ruin it." Summer nodded, determined to salvage the evening. But fate, or perhaps Amanda, had other plans. As the night progressed, the champagne flowed faster, laughter grew louder, and the rooftop came alive with music and dancing. Summer was finally starting to relax, surrounded by her closest friends, when disaster struck. Kyle accidentally bumped into a waiter carrying a tray of flaming cocktails. One wrong move, and the tray went tumbling, flames shooting into the air, drinks splashing over the crowd. Chaos erupted. Guests screamed, diving out of the way of the fiery cocktail disaster. Summer shrieked, narrowly avoiding a splash herself, and the music screeched to a halt. Phyllis rushed to douse the flames with a fire extinguisher she had miraculously grabbed, while Kyle stood frozen, horrified by the mess he had caused. I'm so sorry," Kyle stammered, but nobody was paying attention. The rooftop was now a frenzied swirl of panic and laughter, a mix of real danger and slapstick chaos. Amidst the mayhem, Amanda seized her moment. She leaned close to Summer, her voice low and venomous. "Looks like your little party isn't so perfect after all. Maybe some things just aren't meant to be celebrated." Summer's temper flared. "You know what, Amanda? Maybe you should leave before you ruin the rest of my night." Amanda smirked but didn't move. It was clear she intended to make the evening as miserable as possible. And as if on cue, a new complication arrived. Nick Newman, Summer's protective father, had gotten wind of the chaos and arrived at the lounge. Seeing the flaming cocktail fiasco, he exploded in fury. "Everyone calm down." Nick barked, his face red with a mixture of anger and embarrassment. But the crowd barely listened, caught in the whirlwind of spilled drinks and screaming guests. Summer, trying to restore some order, turned to Nick. "Dad, it's okay. Really, I can handle it. Just maybe keep Amanda away." Nick's gaze zeroed in on Amanda, and for a moment, the tension between them was palpable. Amanda, of course, wasn't intimidated. She thrived on attention and conflict. And this was the perfect stage for her next move. Just as the tension reached its peak, an unexpected twist threw the party into full-blown chaos. A mysterious guest, who nobody seemed to recognize, entered the lounge with a camera crew. Suddenly, the night that was supposed to be a private celebration became a potential viral spectacle. Summer's face paled. Who are you?" Summer demanded, her voice trembling. The stranger smiled, revealing a business card. "Let's just say, I'm here to make sure this party gets the attention it deserves." Before Summer could protest, the stranger started filming, capturing every spilled drink, every scream, and every awkward interaction. The bachelorette party, meant to be a cherished memory, was quickly turning into a disaster of epic proportions. Meanwhile, Phyllis and Sharon tried to salvage the celebration. They corralled the guests, encouraged laughter, and attempted to redirect the energy into fun games and a photo booth. But the damage was done. The rooftop lounge looked like a battlefield, and everyone was on edge. In the middle of the chaos, Summer found a brief moment of clarity. She turned to her friends and said, "You know what? Forget the disaster. This is our night. We can make it fun no matter what happens." Her determination sparked a glimmer of hope, and slowly the group rallied. They danced, they laughed, and for a few fleeting moments, the rooftop felt magical again. But Amanda, ever the instigator, had one final card to play. She whispered something to Kyle, causing his face to twist in shock and anger. Summer, curious and concerned, demanded to know what was going on. Kyle hesitated, then reluctantly admitted. She knows about the contract with Newman Enterprises. She's threatening to leak it tonight." Summer froze. This was more than a bachelorette party mishap. This was corporate sabotage, a threat that could have serious consequences for her and her family. Nick, overhearing this, stepped in with a glare that could cut glass. "Nobody touches the Newman family business, understood?" Amanda's smirk widened. "Oh, Nick, it's not about touching it. It's about showing everyone that even the Newmans have weaknesses." The night ended with a tense standoff. Amanda poised with her camera, Nick fuming, and Summer caught between fury and fear. Friends tried to calm her, promising that everything would be fine, but the unease lingered. What was supposed to be a fun, celebratory night had become a dangerous game of power, ego, and exposure. As guests trickled out, Summer realized one undeniable truth. In Genoa City, even a bachelorette party could turn into a battlefield. The night of chaos had revealed fractures, rivalries, and secrets that no amount of champagne could hide. And as Amanda disappeared into the night with a victorious smirk, Summer knew that the fallout from this party was far from over. In classic Young and the Restless fashion, the bachelorette party that was meant to be fun had transformed into a pivotal turning point. Relationships would be tested, secrets would be exposed, and the Newman family would once again face the turbulence that seemed woven into the very fabric of their lives. Genoa City would never forget this bachelorette party, where chaos reigned, alliances were tested, and one woman's night of celebration became the scene of a thrilling, suspenseful showdown that promised repercussions for weeks to come. The Abbott's annual holiday gala was in full swing. Glittering chandeliers cast a warm glow over the room, reflecting off crystal glasses and the carefully arranged centerpieces. Guests in shimmering gowns and tailored tuxedos mingled, laughed, and sipped champagne, but beneath the elegance, tension was brewing like a storm on the horizon. Phyllis Summers, in a sleek crimson dress that hugged her figure perfectly, had made a choice. Tonight wasn't about holiday cheer. It was about closure, confrontation, and perhaps revenge. She had received the tip that Christine Blair would be making a rare appearance, and Phyllis wasn't about to let the opportunity slip by. Inside, Christine moved through the crowd with her usual grace, her smile polite, but reserved. She had attended at the invitation of Jill Abbott, hoping to keep things cordial in the complicated web of Genoa City relationships. But as she scanned the room, she felt a ripple of unease. Something was off, and she couldn't shake the feeling that someone had their eyes on her. Phyllis entered from the grand foyer, her heels clicking against the marble floor. Heads turned, whispers floated through the crowd, and a subtle hush fell over one side of the room. Phyllis had that effect, magnetic, intimidating, and dangerous in a way that only she could pull off. Her eyes locked onto Christine, and for a moment, the world narrowed down to just the two of them. "Phyllis," Christine's voice was cautious, almost measured, as if she were trying to read the storm that had just walked into the room. "Christine," Phyllis replied, her tone sharp, her smile tight. "We need to talk." Christine's eyes flicked to the nearest exit, but she was surrounded. Turning away wasn't an option. Phyllis advanced with purpose, weaving through the clusters of guests, her presence impossible to ignore. Conversations faltered as people noticed the escalating tension. "What is this about?" Christine asked, her voice low, steady, though her heart pounded with a mix of fear and anticipation. "You know exactly what it's about," Phyllis snapped, her voice rising enough to draw a few curious glances. "I've been hearing all about how you've been trying to manipulate things behind the scenes. How you think you can walk into my life, my events, and nothing will happen." Christine stiffened, her mind racing. She had indeed tried to play peacemaker recently, smoothing over old conflicts and attempting to reconcile with Jill. But Phyllis's accusation felt personal, deliberate, and dangerously close to truth. "Phyllis, I've never tried to," Christine began, but Phyllis cut her off with a wave of her manicured hand. "Don't even try to spin this," Phyllis hissed. "Everyone thinks I'm the problem, but maybe the real problem is people like you who think they can pull strings behind everyone's back." Guests nearby had started to form a loose circle, sensing a confrontation that promised fireworks. The Abbott estate, known for drama, was no stranger to public showdowns, but tonight's tension had a new edge. Christine held her ground. "If this is about Jack or any of your assumptions, I assure you, I have no interest in interfering. I came here to enjoy the party, nothing more. Don't play innocent with me," Phyllis shouted, her voice carrying across the room. A few champagne glasses rattled on their tables. "You've always had a way of sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong. And now, you're here pretending like everything is fine. Well, it's not." Christine's jaw tightened, and she took a deliberate step closer. "Phyllis, I'm not your enemy. Whatever issues you think exist, they're yours to deal with, not mine." Phyllis's eyes narrowed, her body tense as if she were ready to strike. "You don't get it. I've tolerated so much for so long. But tonight I draw the line. And if you think you can just glide into my world and walk out unscathed, you're sorely mistaken." The room felt electric. Jill Abbott herself had moved closer, a concerned frown etched on her face. "Ladies, please," she began, but Phyllis wasn't listening. "Christine, I've played nice. I've smiled through lies, rumors, and manipulations. But not tonight. Phyllis exclaimed. She raised a hand, pointing a finger directly at Christine. You may be a lawyer, you may be respected, but you do not get to mess with me. Not here. Not ever. Christine's calm demeanor cracked slightly, but she responded with measured strength. Phyllis, if you're looking for a fight, you won't find one with me. But I will not be intimidated, and I will not be bullied in front of everyone. Phyllis laughed, but it was sharp, humorless. Intimidated? You think I'm the one who's scared? No, Christine. You should be scared. You should realize that I've grown stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever. At that moment, a hush fell over the room. Guests held their breath, caught between awe and fear. The tension was palpable, and it was clear that this confrontation wasn't going to end quietly. Christine sighed, exhaling slowly, and took a step back, letting her hands rest at her sides. Phyllis, I don't want this to ruin the evening. Let's not make this a scene in front of everyone. But Phyllis shook her head, refusing to relent. Too late for that, Christine. Too late. Suddenly, from the back of the crowd, a familiar voice rang out. Ladies, I think this party just got more interesting. It was Jack Abbott, moving quickly toward the tense duo. He put a hand on Phyllis's shoulder. Phyllis, maybe we save the confrontation for later? Phyllis turned her glare to Jack, her chest heaving. Jack, I will handle this. Christine needs to hear me. Jack raised his hands in surrender, clearly wary of getting caught in the crossfire. Christine, sensing an opening, gave a nod of acknowledgement, trying to calm the situation without losing face. Phyllis's eyes softened for just a fraction of a second, not out of remorse but as a calculated pause. Consider this a warning, Christine. You've been playing games, thinking you're untouchable. But I'm not finished. This isn't the end. With that, Phyllis turned sharply, her red gown sweeping behind her as she made her dramatic exit. Guests whispered excitedly, some clapping in disbelief at the bold display. Christine stood still, shaken but resolute, while Jack muttered under his breath, "This is going to get messy." Even as the music started back up, the party's festive atmosphere had irrevocably shifted. Everyone could feel it. Phyllis Summers had crashed the gala, confronted Christine Blair, and left a warning that promised more fireworks to come. Genoa City would be talking about tonight's showdown for weeks, and no one could predict exactly how the next chapter would unfold. For Phyllis, the evening was a victory. She had made her point, declared her power, and reminded everyone, especially Christine, that underestimating her would be a grave mistake. And for Christine, the challenge was clear. Navigate the storm that was Phyllis Summers without losing control, or risk being pulled into a war that no one could afford to lose. One thing was certain, this confrontation wasn't just a moment at a party. It was a declaration. And in Genoa City, declarations had a way of changing everything.